I don't believe in God. I believe only my responsibility, because his responsibility is very important for every person.
Vicky ran away from home about 5 or 6 years ago from Bengal, from a little village in Bengal. He comes from an extremely poor family, and he came to the railway station, to New Delhi railway station on a train, and then started working on the streets as a rag picker. And at some point of time, our social workers from Salam Balak Trust saw him on the streets and asked him whether he wanted to change his life or wanted to come and live at the center, which is where we provide support services. And he was very enthusiastic, so Vicky came to us. Once he came to Salam Balak Trust, what happens is that we have every child has to study till the 10th grade or the 10th standard. And when Vicky was not able to do really well in the 10th grade, we wanted to ask him what he wanted to do in the future. And there was a workshop for photography that happened at the same time, and he got associated with that workshop. And then one of the volunteers who came from the UK, Benjamin Dix, and Dixie just found that Vicky had a special something. He had maybe an eye for an image.
And my kind of music is there. They know what to say.
A lot of people, especially after Slumdog Millionaire, a lot of people I think Slumdog Millionaire sexed up poverty, There is nothing sexy about poverty. It is about everything that you don't have. It's about small rooms where lots of people stay. It's about fighting for water. It's about finding a place to go to the toilet. It's about sitting in a place where there's food being cooked on a stove when you're inhaling that air. It's about cramped spaces. It's about dirty streets. It's about unclean environments. It's about having no dreams. It's suffocating. It is completely different than what we think poverty is.
Anything that is being captured with the camera by a person behind the camera is a recreational reality. It can never be real. Realism is not possible in cinema. Because the moment you put a camera, the moment you choose to look at it from a certain angle, it's your viewpoint. So I don't think realism is any way is possible, strictly speaking. And for God's sake, it's a film. No, it's not reality. It's a film. It's film on the backdrop of a turbulent time in the city of Bombay. You have to be in Bombay to understand what this film is talking about. You are an outsider of Bombay, wouldn't be able to understand. You are misreading the film. I feel very sorry that everybody has misread this film.
So you think poverty is a prop for an artist?
I think, for me, it's like to start to understand life and to realize that it can be different and it can be so worst.
यहाँ पे मैं स्ट्रीट पे रहा और उसके बाद यहाँ रेट कीपिंग करता था मैं नई दिल्ली रेलवे स्टेशन पर और 6 महीने बाद
about this kind of a tourism process, if I may say so, with slums for which foreigners are paying some amount to actually go through the slums. That's what you mean. Okay.
How do you relate to this? How do you feel about this?
I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's something to be very enthusiastic about, because I think this would lead to a kind of a vicious cycle. What are you doing here?
It's very sick. You're selling poverty as a commodity. I can't accept that. And I would never do it.
Oh, I'll come.
So please come in. Let's meet with the kids. Hi, ma'am.
Hi. तुम्हें तभी लाना था जब मैं उठ के इधर आऊँगी।
कोई बात नहीं, जाओ।
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
दासी हैं।
नमस्ते। कैसे हो? लगता है बहुत खा लिया सुबह में, हाँ? These are the kids. This is from the film Salam Bombay. And can you see the Mrs. Meera Nair, how she looked like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And now she looks like this.
So funny.
So you know, when she made that film, the film was really a very successful film.
What was the film called?
Salam Bombay.
Salam Bombay.
Yeah. And when her mother, Mrs. Parveen Nair and Mr. Sanjay Roy, when they saw the film, they were highly impressed by that film. And then they thought, why not we start working with this kind of kids in Delhi? Because the film was based on street life in Mumbai.
The world needs to know that there are children who need help, not just in India, in America, in the UK, and across Europe. Children are first and foremost, it's their right to be given something to eat, to an education, to a place to stay, to love, and to a childhood. And Vicky captures all that is absent from these children. That's why it's important. There's nothing sexy about poverty, like I said. It is horrifying, it's terrible, it sucks out the life force of people who live in poverty. And that happens across the world, whether it's America or Africa or India or Bangladesh. Poverty is a problem. The City Walk started by a volunteer, and one of the main aims of starting the City Walk was basically to get the children to learn to speak English. And from that we said that how do we get them to speak English? So we tried to send them to English speaking institutes, teaching courses, etc. None of it worked. And then this volunteer came and said, why don't we try a way where a child gets to meet with people who understand English but make it interesting. So he created the City Walk. It shows the city from the perspective of the child. It shows the work that we do from the perspective of the child. It shows the life of the child, but at the same time gives him a skill of speaking and learning English or any other language, foreign language that he wishes to. And it's helped hugely for many of our children. And he got to know about the Maybach Foundation Award. So Maybach Foundation, which is the car people, they set up an award to benefit 4 young people across the world. And they invited, I think, thousands of people to apply to them for this award. Anubhav sent in Vicky's application as one of them. And then they called, they spoke with us. And I think somewhere they understood that here, there was a young man, extremely poor. He wanted to succeed. He didn't have any godfather or anything. He wanted to succeed by his own talent. And he did so. And what better story than somebody like that traveling all the way out to New York to look at the rebuilding of the World Trade Center. It's about youth, it's about hope, it's about happiness, it's about a future. So I think in all of that, Vicky portrays.